Welcome to Stories and Songs by Afterglow Music. My name is Joel McCausland.
And I'm Kevin Peay, and we've been creating music for a long time.
We'd like to tell you the stories behind our songs.
Joel, we had a great opportunity to go to Japan.
Couple times, yeah.
You served there.
Right.
I served a mission in Missouri in St. Louis, and so as far as new language was concerned, this Japanese experience and the opportunity to go to Japan was completely foreign to me. No pun intended.
Right.
But
it was so much fun for me because obviously going back to my mission a few years later was a good time. But you know, the way this thing came about, we were just kind of reminiscing. I have to admit my memory's not so good for all the details, and it might be because I have so many other memories of Japan. But we had the opportunity the first time we went in 1990 to go with the Ricks College dance team. I'm not even sure what they called themselves.
Yeah, but as a backline, though, you served a mission in Japan.
Yeah, I was in Tokyo North Mission.
So you knew the language.
Yes.
And I'm like, okay, I'll try this. Yeah, okay, let's do this. Okay, how am I going to do this?
Right.
And then you set me at ease, and you kind of set the pathway. And I think Deseret Book allowed us to do that, right?
Yeah, and I think this first one, you know, we really had the opportunity only because the Ricks College team was going and they invited us to go with them.
That's
and
right.
Had a kind of a vision of letting us go up there while they were dancing and we could sing a little bit or we could do a few numbers on our own. It was just a kick to be able to go and participate with them. There's a thing in Japan they call Golden Week. It's a full week where everybody's off and they celebrate and have people go to their hometowns, and it's a big deal all around the country. And there's this place called Suzuka Circuit, right? They called it Sakuto. But it was remember there was a racetrack.
Yeah.
A racetrack there.
Motorcycles.
And an amusement park. And then this center pavilion where we performed, I don't remember how many times, but we did it more than once on that pavilion, right in the middle of the amusement park, and did a variety of songs. It was not our typical performance, for sure.
Yeah, to be clear, we were singing Let It Be, and we did some of our love songs, which I remember, If It's Love.
And we had the dancers learned a little, I don't know, even swing or something to that particular song. So while we sang that, they were up on the stage with us and having a great time.
And this is when Cindy and our wives went with us. I remember Cindy had a sickness, an ear sickness, and we were just beside ourselves in regards to where do we go to get this fixed because she wasn't doing very well.
Yeah, that flight over was pretty rough.
And I remember we found a local hospital, and that was a whole experience unto itself to learn Japanese medicine. And
Right.
if she was on this podcast, she would tell us of some funny experiences. But all as I know is it hurt, and she couldn't hear.
And we didn't really know what they were going to do for treatment. It was kind of sketchy for a while. And you know, they know what they're doing. I'm no question about that. But
But they did have one drug in common, which was penicillin.
Yeah.
And I think that's what solved the issue. And then Cindy got better, and we were able to continue on, which was wonderful.
Yeah.
But the whole experience, I was fascinated by watching families come together at Golden Week, where the men were off, but I noticed that they would walk in front, and the women would walk behind, and it was not like 2 feet; it was like 5 feet.
It's such a weird dynamic. I mean, it's just a different place and probably even different time. I suspect some of those things have maybe changed in the current generations, but at the time, you know, it was so clear and classical. It was like the man, they even called them salary men. That's what they called them if you worked for a company in Japan. And they would go to work and they would work these terribly long hours, and the wife took care of the kids. And gosh, the husband might call her at 10 o'clock at night and say, honey, I'm just getting off work and I'm bringing 5 guys home with me. We need dinner. That was the way that so many Japanese families lived. And honestly, it was one of the hard things about the gospel for people, you know, between the word of wisdom, which was a challenge with tea and smoking and all the other things, and just the culture that said what we do is work and what our wives do is take care of children. And you're right, in Golden Week, to see them come together that way and take time away, that part of it really supported the idea of family. And that was a a welcome thing to see for me too.
And I did see when I got there and we were witnessing that, I saw also the other generation, the younger generation, that had changed that paradigm.
A little bit, yeah.
And they were holding hands. Mm-hmm. The younger ones were holding hands. And even to get the younger people up on stage was fun to see how they were changing a little bit and shifting a little bit to the dynamic of these Americans that had come. Mm-hmm. And of course, it was interesting for us. We were really nobodies over there. It was
just all along for the ride.
We were blending in, but the music, the American music, was really exciting to them. Mm-hmm. No matter whether they understood it or it was new to them or if it was familiar.
Yeah, they might love the Beatles more than Americans or even the Brits do. They really, the Beatles are a thing over there.
That Let It Be song was really fun to perform.
Yeah.
So it was great. It was just wonderful to see to see how they accepted us, and for us to be able to just kind of let it go.
Yeah. Yeah, the thing that was kind of cool too is we got that opportunity almost on a fluke. We knew the director up in Rick's, he asked us to come, and so we got that kind of once-in-a-lifetime chance. But it also introduced us to some people and introduced us to the idea that we could go back.
Oh, yeah.
And the second time we went to Japan, it was much more about sharing the music that we had created, and we did firesides from Sapporo in the north all the way to Fukuoka in the south. And I think we did 9 or 10 cities on that tour. And that one has some really special memories for me, too.
Part of that process was me trying to figure out phonetically how to actually sing this. And maybe we can just give a little snippet of one of the songs that we did, because I'm reading this actually from a book. And it's written out for me by one of our dear friends, Nobuaki Irie. Mm-hmm. Did I pronounce that right?
You got it right, yeah.
And Nobuaki went with us on a lot of the firesides on the second time, or actually, was he with us?
I think he was there for pretty much everything the second time around. I don't know, did we? I honestly don't remember what his role was, if anything, in the first one.
Yeah.
But yes,
in 92,
he was the one who made the second one happen, really. And he's a wonderful artist in his own right. But I have to give him credit, and you too, Kev, because he took the songs that we had written or the songs we loved, and he translated them. And I've said this before, but some of those songs actually sound as good or better in Japanese because of his work as they do in English. And actually, one of the ones that might be kind of fun to listen to a little piece of is a song that I wrote and you and I've done for many, many years called Help Me Find the Way. And it's kind of it's a conversation, it's a prayer. And and you really had to take the line on that. You had to be the soloist and sing that song, and you did a great job. It's not just kind of phonetically fitting in on a harmony part. You actually had to solo that one, and it was awesome.
主よ私の言葉が聞こえますか私の胸は悲しみ苦しみで壊れてしまいそうです声よ聞こえる心の想いもすべて見ているへりくだる心迷いよろめき歩く姿も
Joel, I was fascinated by the process. The song My Everything was one that we had done earlier on The Greatest Gift, but one that was selected to be on the Japanese album. And to watch it being written out phonetically by Nobuaki, the translation was just fascinating, because you're hoping, you're praying for the gift of tongues, but at the same time you have no idea how to pronounce it. And so maybe there was a little bit of inspiration that helped through that process. I would hope so. I think the Holy Ghost was there and helped us through that and helped me to sing it phonetically. On the recording specifically, when we got it recorded, but when we were at the firesides, I mean, I'm turning pages, and we're standing up in front of people, and I'm reading from a book, so it wasn't your traditional fireside of, I got this thing memorized, and I mean, it was pretty raw, but people accepted it, and they were appreciative that we were there, and we were giving it a try. And you and Nobuaki speaking Japanese, and then me just kind of interjecting was just fascinating for me.
Yeah, we should take a minute and listen to My Everything. I just think you just nailed that. It turned into such a beautiful rendition in Japanese. Let's hear a little bit of that one.
あなたがすべて愛を与えて人生の重荷背負ってくれる昼も夜もそばで導孤独の時も勇気づける
Thanks for listening to that song that I wrote so many years ago, but it's wonderful to hear it in the Japanese language. Grateful that we could take a minute and feature that.
Yeah, it was good.
But just the whole experience in moving across the country was just unbelievable. The way that we could get to so many different places so quickly.
Yeah, we saw a lot of the country. I mean, Sapporo is a totally different island. It's all by itself way up north, and then we traveled mostly by train, by bullet train.
Except for the time when we went from Osaka to Sapporo, and that was a 747 that was packed.
That's right.
And I remember...
That's right.
I remember it was a 40-minute flight, and we're on a 747. And then all of a sudden, the camera shows up, and we're watching the takeoff and we're watching the landing. And I'm like, they don't do this in America. We had to come to Japan to witness this. But just the way they move people is just unreal.
It's pretty remarkable, isn't it?
Yeah, it was fascinating. But the experience of how people accepted us, me trying the best I could, they were so appreciative. And it was just phenomenal to witness the Shinkansen, the bullet train, getting logistically into 10 cities in 9 days.
Right.
To do these performances, these firesides, was just, such a memory for me.
You know, we've mentioned him, but we should talk a little more about Nobuaki. He was a convert to the church. He's a guy who's loved music his whole life, and he wanted to do good with it. And that was such a cool thing to see, kind of the development of him as an artist. He's done a whole bunch of music from other people. He's put out 3 or 4 albums. And even now he continues to travel through Japan and do firesides and
still
support
see
the
him on
members.
Facebook.
Yeah,
doing
such
wonderful things.
And actually, you know, he's kind of he's an artist himself, but he's really got a soul of a songwriter. I don't know how many songs he's written on his own, but when he sat down with some of the songs that I'd written, man, he just nailed them. And there's a song that's been special to me. We'll probably do an episode on it at another time, called One Step. And he took that song, and I still remember the day he played it for me, the day he sang it for me. I think I played it, but he sang it for me, and I was like, man, I don't know how you did that, but you took everything I wanted to say in English and hoped I did okay at it and made it sound even more profound, better in Japanese. And I've just loved what he's been able to do over the years as really as a disciple of Christ, but also as somebody who learned how to share his talent, his testimony in music. This couldn't have happened without him. I was kind of rusty too. We were talking 10, 12 years after we got home, and it would have been pretty tough for me to try to pull this off on my own, and to have his support and you there and us being able to kind of do this as a team was pretty awesome.
And one of the greatest things that happened was you could eat and eat and eat and eat all the Japanese food, and I never came home with any extra weight. It was just absolutely incredible. And that's where I learned to do chopsticks. And now I can actually go to a Japanese restaurant, and I can actually I can do my thing with chopsticks. I loved that whole experience. It was beautiful.
That's awesome. As we wrap things up today, maybe we could listen to One Step. As I've said, that's something that's really a special rendition to me, and hopefully that's something you'll enjoy as well.
時々人生道に迷って主のために歌った歌祈りさえ忘れるたとえ続くこの道険しくなろうとも我は知る一歩ごとに主に近づけることを一歩ずつ歩けばいいのさ旅路たとえ長くも命の尽きるまで私は行く一歩ずつ天父のもとへだから悩み重くのしかかるときに主の手を近く感じ我が胸は愛満ちる一歩ずつ歩けばいいのさ旅路たとえ長くも命の尽きるまで私は行く一歩ずつ天父のもとへと近づく一歩ずつこの道